Welcome back, everybody, to the Founders Korner. Today, I am coming to you with a quick tip for all those founders and startups out there that want to get their business going and succeed. And today, we're going to be talking about how to validate your business ideas so that you don't burn through that delicate resource called money and time. And so you don't have to pivot, as most startups do, towards the middle of your development because you couldn't deliver on a particular feature or function. So let's get into it. So we are starting a new series called Quick Tips for all you guys so that it's quick, biteable content. In today's episode, we're going to be diving into the crucial topic of how to validate your business idea. Because when I talk to startups all the time, what I always get is, how do I validate my business idea? Everyone keeps telling me to validate, but I have no idea how to validate this idea because A, I don't have access, or B, I know this is going to work. These are all excuses in my mind. At the end of the day, it is very simple on how you should approach validating your idea. Validation doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go out there and figure out, okay, this is exactly what the customer wants and I'm going to deliver on that. What you want to do with validation is make sure you're building something that the customer is willing to give you their hard-earned cash so that you can walk away with solving a problem for them specifically. So the first tip that I'm going to give you about how to validate your business idea is to find your target market. Time after time after time, I find people trying to solve too much with so little resources available to them. So what you need to end up doing is actually going out there and figuring out who is the ideal customer, the ICP, ideal customer profile, so that you guys can understand what their biggest pain point is, right? Because at the end of the day, research doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go and find all of these information and validate your idea because people are willing to pay for it. No, none of that, especially at a startup stage. What you want to do is be able to validate through your target market that people are willing to pay for what you're about to build, and that you're solving a big enough of a problem that they are willing to depart from their hard-earned cash to give to you so that they can use your software to make their lives easier. So when looking at research, what I want you to focus on is validating through your ICP, ideal customer profile. So go out there and find those ideal customers that you're about to build product for and get them to buy into your idea. Get them to say, I want to be a part of this and I want to help you solve my problem. A lot of startups think they have to be stealth. They have to be low key, under the radar, but you really don't. Not with your customers, at least. Go out there and find yourself 10 ideal customers that will actually be a part of your product development and validate through them what you're building and make sure that they are on board, because if they're on board, I guarantee you, if you have 10 of them that are on board, you will find hundreds. But if you have nobody and you're developing a product based on a hunch or a thought, even experts get caught with this tunnel vision. You have to understand that sometimes you're going to launch a product and it's simply not going to work. Tip number 2, build an MVP. Now, MVPs mean a lot of things to a lot of different people. But just so if you don't know what an MVP is, it's minimum viable product. A minimum viable product is anything that is actually functional. Okay. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go out there and build a software. Because again, I get this question asked, well, Seth, if I'm going to be building, why don't I just build what I want and that will be my MVP and then we'll test it? Good point. The problem with that is you're going to drain your resources of cash to get to that level to understand, you know what, they actually didn't want this. They didn't work. I need to work something out. I need to pivot. So what I want you to do is actually take a step back and actually go out there and build a really, really functional Figma. Okay, Figma is basically a wireframe that you can make a lot of things. You can make all the clicks and actions happen so that the end user or the ideal customer profile can actually interact and play with the software as if it was in front of them today. That will cost you no more than $10,000 to do a really good job of one. That alone is a great research opportunity for you to be able to get user feedback for your design and concept And you don't have to go down the expensive development process until you've actually seen it interact, you've seen it work, you've seen your customers actually say, oh my God, this would change my life. That's when you know you have something. Then you can pour in hundreds of thousands of dollars of your resources because now you've validated the concept, you've validated the product. Now you can actually go to real true MVP. Now, the third tip is simple. Get what you got from MVP, get what you got from your 10 ideal customer profiles, and put all of that data together and mesh it together and find where you need to be in the market. Okay, you're not going to get a home run right off the bat. So the two first tips are critical to tip number 3, to putting it all together. Once you have your user feedback, once you have your validation, once you understand where their biggest struggle is, that's when you have a really good startup. Okay, that's your tip number 3. Bring it all together. Remember, validating and actually going out there and talking to your customers is not actually that hard to do. Okay, find the potential customers, talk to them, have a conversation with them. You'd be surprised how many of them are actually willing to help you, because at the end of the day, you're actually helping them. And they're in business for themselves. They're not there to try to steal your idea or take over or anything like that. They just want their problem solved. That's why they're willing to pay for software. So at the end of the day, go find your customers, at least find 5 to 10 people that are willing to talk to you and help you through this process. Then find your MVP through Figma designs and build it out, pay the professionals, do your thing, but spend a minimum of 5 to 10 grand on that before you start building your actual product. And then thirdly, bring it all together, bring all the data together, put it together, work with your team or by yourself, and make sure the product does truly solve a pain. Because at the end of the day, that is why you're starting a software product, okay? Solving the pain. So solve the pain, but first have the conversations. Thank you for watching our quick tip videos that are going to be coming out here in the next couple of months. Please like and subscribe. If you have any comments down below, we'd love to hear from you. Or please share this with someone that you believe that can take a lot of value from this. Until next time, Korner out.